Explore the endless bounds of space with all new LEGO building sets. From engineering wonders like LEGO Technic NASA Apollo Lunar Roving Vehicle to astronaut dog walkers, there is a perfect LEGO set for everyone on Earth. First launched in 1978, space sets have been igniting people's curiosity through the ultimate creative medium of LEGO bricks. Their newest collection is sure to propel the wonder for exploration and adventure across the galaxies. Be inspired by LEGO sets that are out of this world. Visit Amazon.com/LEGO Space to see the full collection.
Start.
Welcome to How to Survive. We're here to get you through the stuff that can kill you.
Oh, you mean like bear attacks and earthquakes and fires?
Totally. And the stuff that makes you wish you were dead.
Yeah, like having your heart broken or peeing your pants or peeing your pants a second time.
Check, check, check.
Yeah. We should just play the music.
Yeah.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Hi there. Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. I'm Kristine Kimmel. Hey, Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle Koenig. How are you? Should we have named it Kimmel and Koenig?
Oh.
Koenig and Kimmel? Kimmel and Koenig. That sounds pretty good. KK.
They sound like detectives
Yes.
out to solve crimes.
Yes. Poorly.
Yo, absolutely poorly. I mean, we wouldn't solve any crimes.
No. We would just talk about TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be another good podcast. Kimmel and Koenig.
Yeah.
Talking about TV shows.
I think there's enough of those out in the air, right?
I feel like that market is saturated.
Yeah.
Although I do love to talk about TV shows.
Yeah, me too.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Before we got on the air, we were talking about Intarsia.
Yes.
Which is this a knitting pattern.
Yes.
Of one, because you're wearing a sweater, a very cute sweater with a French bulldog? No, what is that? A pug?
I think it's a pug.
A pug on it.
Dog I'm not actually into, and I love almost all dog breeds. But
Why don't you like pugs?
They're very like snorty.
Well, yeah, because they're bred. Yeah,
I feel sad for
you
them.
should feel. They're like the what is that bloodline of the British? Oh, they're not British.
Boris Yeltsin?
No. There's the Habsburgs.
Okay.
Or like inbred rulers of some country 100, 200 years ago or something. But
Overbred.
Overbred,
Yeah.
yes. Inbred and overbred.
Yes.
And sourdough bread.
Have you gotten your sourdough starter yet?
I haven't. You know why? It turns out you can buy sourdough bread in the in the stores.
Yeah.
They're readily available.
And they taste delicious.
And they taste just fine.
Even at Ralph's.
Yeah. Oh, even at Target.
Yep.
Intarsia.
And it all comes full
circle.
I think my poor luck, my bad luck streak.
Yes.
I think it's over.
Oh, good.
I feel like, I'm bug free.
Yes.
No bugs in my head, no bugs in my butt.
Good.
And
well, let's be clear. There were never bugs in your butt that we know of.
Well, no, but you never know.
I guess.
I mean, I took the medicine just to be safe. I did have one.
Oh,
just one little caveat.
Oh no.
So I've been trying to take my dog on longer walks lately because I decided I made a fitness decision. I don't think I've shared this with you.
No.
That I'm going to train to power walk a half marathon.
Fantastic.
Because I want to just, try to get more fit and take care of myself.
Okay. So 13.1 miles.
Exactly. I did once run, and let's use the term run very loosely, 5K, and that was brutal. And I know everyone's like, baby, because
it's like 3 something miles.
It's nothing. But anyway, so I've been taking my dog on longer walks. So the other morning I had her, and the beginning of the walk, she usually takes an epic dump.
Oh.
And so it's like right at the beginning, so I get to carry it the entire rest of the,
it's like a little souvenir.
Exactly.
From the walk.
45 minutes to an hour. And
that is a long walk.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Right? So I'm really trying. It used to just be 15 minutes and just rush back. I reached down, with the poop bag to grab this big pile, and then came up with it and realized the entire bottom of the bag was a giant hole.
What?
It was ripped open. And so then I just had it in my hand.
Wait a second. You had a huge pile of Sally's poop in your hand?
Yeah, a hot steaming pile.
How did that pack break?
Well, they come in a roll.
Yeah.
And you rip them off, each one
the
individually.
perforated.
And sometimes there's, I guess, one that just is defective.
I'm so sorry.
And
Was that this morning?
No, it was the day before. So I held it in my hand, luckily, and it's hot.
Oh no!
And luckily, I had I had another bag because sometimes she takes more than one.
Okay.
In my pocket, and so I double bagged it, but then I still had poop on my hand.
Of course you did.
And then I had to just walk. I was like, well, I'm gonna still take the walk. But I had just poop on.
Did you just Did you try to wipe it off on the grass or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did, but it was still like it kind of had stained my hand, and I just had to take the rest of the walk with dog shit on my hand.
Chris.
And I was like, no, this tracks.
Oh my God. So
anyway.
then did you have to open the door with your left hand or something?
Yeah, I was very careful, to not spread it anywhere. But, this is welcome 2022.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's, listen, I still haven't gotten COVID.
I know, right?
I mean, I don't know how I've managed to not get COVID when I feel like it's literally everywhere.
I tweeted that I'm a late bloomer and I'm sure I'll get it after everyone else has gotten and the cool factor's over and no one cares anymore.
No, it's so cool right now.
It is. It's
the hottest thing.
It is. It's a trend. All right. Should we talk about what to survive today? I mean, we could talk about surviving, bacteria on your hands, but...
I survived it. Here I am.
You did. That's right.
Oh, stronger than
Sally.
ever.
Sally. You know who wouldn't make a big steaming pile that big? A pug.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No. Mm-mm. What, they do? Garen has dogs. Do you have a pug?
I do not. I do not have a pug. Sorry, that was weird. My aunt had one, and that thing... I'm sorry, it was my mom who had one, and it took a dump that it literally was raising its back legs. It was cartoonish.
What do you mean it was raising its back legs to get away from its own poop?
No, it was basically, that's how big it was. It was, as it was...
balancing
for humor, it really did that, but it was like...
The dog had a good sense of humor.
Hey, pugs,
right. You know what? Nothing if not a jokester.
It was, this little dog, the thing it let out, you would have thought it was a Doberman.
All the time, not just once.
No, thank you.
It went back.
I hate poop. I don't know how this show has become this. I hate it. I hate talking about it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. When it's I don't know, when it's dogs, it's not as bad. And then Lauren's story last week was so funny that I don't know. I guess I can take it, and maybe I'm maturing. Yeah.
Finally.
I don't know how else to put it. All right. Today we're going to talk about how to survive a heart attack.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Oh, well, don't get too excited. We don't want you to have a heart attack.
I'm worried about this.
Are you worried about yourself getting a heart attack?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that it's one of those things that women are at risk of, but they don't think they are because they always think that it's for men. But
yes,
you know what? You're going to tell me.
I'm going to tell you all about it.
Shut my trap.
Perhaps you should be concerned because, according to the CDC, if you want to believe them,
well, jury's out.
Every year, about 805,000 Americans have a heart attack, and of these, 605,000 are a first heart attack. So some people are obviously having a second or third one. This is why it's important to have a plan of action in place when symptoms become noticeable. Survival depends on recognizing the symptoms and taking immediate action. So we're going to get into what the symptoms are. Here's ways to prepare. If you feel like a heart attack is coming on. First of all, know the difference between a panic attack and a heart attack, which I'm going to get into later. Always have aspirin on hand in an accessible medicine cabinet or drawer, or in your car or your bag or purse, because you're going to want to take an aspirin.
Okay.
Learn CPR for loved ones who are at risk. Who's really on that? On that list.
I don't know.
You're on your own. Ask your doctor about nitroglycerin if you are a heart patient, and make your family and friends aware of warning signs.
Can I interrupt 1 second?
Uh-huh.
I don't think I know what nitroglycerin is.
Oh, it's something. It's a pill. I think that you take if you have heart disease.
Okay, thank
to
you.
prevent a heart attack, maybe?
Okay.
I'm not sure. Or it's a gay club drug. Garen, what is it? I don't know. One of those two things. I'm not sure why they want you to know about that, but couldn't it help? Could it hurt? Okay. Why you shouldn't delay going to the emergency room. It may not be realistic to get to the emergency room within a few minutes of experiencing heart attack symptoms, but it is critical to take immediate action. When you don't call 911 immediately or get to the hospital quickly, you risk death. Time is muscle. The longer you wait, the more damage is done to your heart.
Time is muscle.
Time is muscle. I'm going to get a t-shirt of that.
That sounds kind of cool, right?
It sounds really cool.
Like badass. Like it sounds like it's like a shirt that The Rock would wear.
Yeah.
Time is muscle.
Yeah, it's like a pocket watch that's bulging in the center. I don't know. These are some reasons people don't call 911 right away.
They're lazy.
That's not on the list. Embarrassment or fear of looking silly.
Oh, like this is nothing.
Right.
Okay.
Denial or confusion. Responsibilities like not wanting to stop their lives or burden others with worry. I could see you doing that, Garen. I could see you clutching your chest and being like,
It's fine.
yeah, I'm good.
I'll wait till the end of this horror movie.
Actually, yes. Expectation of a dramatic chest clutching event to signal a definite heart attack. It doesn't always happen that way.
Okay.
And mistaken symptoms for heartburn. Many patients, more than 25%, wait more than 6 hours to go to the emergency room after symptoms begin. Don't add to this statistic.
Time is muscle.
Time is muscle. Time is muscle. I like it. A reminder checklist for heart attack symptoms. Okay, so the symptoms will vary from person to person, but these are the most common symptoms of a heart attack to watch out for. Sudden increasing chest pain and angina. I thought it was agina.
I thought it was angina.
You're right, it's angina.
Okay.
What am I thinking of? Agita. Agita. What is agita?
Agita is like when you get agitated?
Yeah. Is that like Yiddish? Agita?
I mean,
I don't know. Angina. This is going well. Pain spreading from the jaw, throat, arm, back, or upper stomach. So
wait.
basically, yeah.
I mean,
I know. I know, but that's why they're saying don't ignore it. I know. Profuse sweating or cold
can
sweats.
you say that again
Yes.
a little slower? Because I need to hear it again.
Like I'm you doing stand-up?
yes.
Pain spreading from the jaw, throat, arm, back, or upper stomach.
It'd be any of those things, or does it all
Yes.
of those things?
Well, I think I get more into that later.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know what future me is going to do. Profuse sweating or cold sweats, nausea or vomiting. See, I didn't know these things were a part of it. Dizziness, shortness of breath. It's like COVID. It's everything.
Yes.
It's whoever you want to be to whoever you want.
It's everything and nothing.
Right.
All the things and none
all
of
in
the
one.
things.
Feelings of indigestion or heartburn, rapid or irregular heartbeats, extreme fatigue or weakness, or heavy elephant sitting on your chest feeling.
I mean, it's so many.
I like when they make an analogy to something you would have no idea.
Yeah.
But I have heard people say that it feels like an elephant sitting on my chest, which would be so fun.
I mean,
it would be painful.
It would, but imagine.
Oh my God. What if it's a tiny elephant?
A little baby elephant.
What if it's a baby elephant?
You could stroke
it are itself big, but
his
I
ears.
think you can handle it. Oh, I wonder if their ears are soft when they're babies.
I bet. Velvety.
So, this goes to what you were saying earlier. Symptoms also may vary by gender.
Okay.
Many women don't experience chest pain at all, only neck, jaw, or back pain, among other symptoms. In other words, the pain is not in the chest. The pain is in the neck, jaw, and back.
Okay.
Women usually wait 4 times longer than men to go to the emergency room because they don't feel any chest pain.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't.
Right, because you don't realize.
You don't think it's your heart if it's in your neck and your jaw.
Right. Any symptoms listed above should never be ignored. Even if you are not having a heart attack, it's better to be safe than sorry. And call 911. Your best chance of survival depends on how quickly you and your loved ones act. So, yeah, look, you might be wrong. You might be, but better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so maybe you get charged for the. I'm not saying that's nothing, but I would risk it.
Yes.
If you could be having.
And it sounds like it's like I'm having a strange pain I don't usually have.
Right.
That feels different than
I mean,
I've had
especially
before.
the jaw. Sure, your jaw might ache from like chewing gum or something, but I think a pain going through your jaw is very specific, and I think that's a good thing to keep your eye on, metaphorically. Location. Okay,
It's hard to look at your own jaw.
It's hard to look at your own jaw. I mean,
I'm trying.
Maybe if you're
I can't.
Leno or I don't know who else can look at
Just
your own jaw.
Leno.
Just Leno. Okay, here it is, the difference between a heart attack and a panic attack. Have you, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, Chris, but have you ever experienced a panic attack?
Yes, I believe I have.
Okay. I have not, but I've experienced attacks of depression, it's more like a lollygag of depression than an attack.
It's like a extended vacation at a place you don't want to go.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, so here's the difference between a heart attack and a panic attack. Location of pain. Both panic and heart attacks cause chest discomfort, but there is a difference. With a heart attack, pain radiates to other areas like the arm, jaw, or neck. Mm-hmm. If it's a panic attack, pain will typically stay in the chest. Okay, so for heart attacks, the pain feels like chest pressure.
Okay.
Feeling of squeezing like an elephant sitting on your chest.
Yes, there's that elephant again.
Achy or burning sensation like heartburn. For panic attacks, it's often sharp or stabbing pain, which is not typical with a heart attack.
Not the heaviness.
Not the
more
squeezing,
like knives.
but yes, sharp. Heart racing or chest discomfort, that's hard to describe. So you wouldn't reach for elephant sitting on your chest because that's easy to describe. So if you say elephant sitting on your chest, you're probably having a heart attack.
Well, it's often the case that people go to the hospital thinking they're having a heart attack, and it turns out they're having a panic attack.
Right.
But better, again, like you said,
better
safe.
to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
My dad had a heart attack, 20-something years ago, and he had the quadruple bypass and the whole thing. So that's my experience with it. And he recovered, and he went on to lead a life full of tension and anger. So nothing was different really. So everything was fine.
You can just keep going and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Heart attacks tend to happen after physical strain or exertion, a sign not found in panic attacks. A heart attack might happen after shoveling snow or walking up a long flight of stairs, but you wouldn't have a panic attack after exercise unless there was an emotional stress trigger with it.
Correct. Yes.
Which is like, me in ballet class or something.
I'm afraid of this event that I'm going to do right now, like get on a plane or
I just realized I don't know how to pole vault. Then maybe you
that's so specific.
You would have a panic
attack. Are you
attack.
sure you haven't had a panic attack?
Mm-hmm. How did this pole get in my hand? That's what she said. Okay. But what if the symptoms hit you at night? Both panic attacks and heart attacks can wake you from sleep, but there's a key difference. People who have nighttime or nocturnal, thanks for telling us that, panic attacks usually have daytime panic attacks too.
Okay.
So if you wake up with chest pain or other symptoms and you don't have a history of panic attacks, that's probably a sign that it's a heart attack. Okay, and how long it lasts. Panic attack symptoms last a few minutes or up to an hour, then the symptoms disappear and you feel better, but a heart attack won't let up. What happens to your heart rate during a panic attack? In many cases, a panic attack triggers a fast heart rate, also known as, here we go, tachycardia. I think I said it, which is not dissimilar from pachydermia.
I don't know that.
Well, pachydermia might not be a word, but pachyderm is an elephant.
What?
Like one sitting on your chest.
Nice, Danielle.
Thanks. The heart rate may speed up to 200 beats per minute or even faster. Holy Ghost. A fast heart rate can make you feel lightheaded and short of breath, or you might feel fluttering or pounding in the chest. Usually tachycardia that happens in response to emotional stress and only lasts a few minutes is not harmful, but if it happens regularly or you have possible symptoms of a heart attack, seek medical care. Can a panic attack cause a heart attack?
Oh, here we go.
A panic attack is unlikely to cause a heart attack, but it's possible. Emotional stress plays a role in both conditions. Both panic attacks and heart attacks can occur during or after a stressful situation. But most of the time, people will have a panic attack rather than a heart attack in response to emotional stress.
Okay. So you can handle emotional stress.
Yeah. So it probably won't give you a heart attack. It'll probably give you a panic attack. Listen, you ought to know by now. All right. People who have anxiety, depression, or chronic stress may have a higher risk of heart problems. Chronic stress can lead to high blood pressure, which raises the risk of heart attack and stroke. Okay, so you're at the hospital. You've gone to the hospital. You've driven don't drive yourself.
No. Call an Uber.
Don't call an Uber.
Call an ambulance
because they have the paddles and whatever else they need.
Can see. They can check your vitals.
Yeah. Don't, and even if someone's with you, don't drive to the hospital. They're saying call 911 because you want whatever. Because it's really a matter of, this is a time thing.
Time is muscle.
Thank you. Time is muscle. And
they want to start looking at that muscle right away.
Right, 100%, exactly. Okay, so then my dad had an angioplasty. So what is an angioplasty? This is, you're at the hospital, you're having your heart taken care of. So an angioplasty is a procedure used to open blocked coronary arteries caused by coronary artery disease. It restores blood flow to the heart muscle without open heart surgery. Angioplasty can be done in an emergency setting, such as a heart attack. For angioplasty, a long, thin tube, a catheter, is put into a blood vessel and guided to the blocked coronary artery. The catheter has a tiny balloon at its tip. Once the catheter is in place, the balloon is inflated, and at the narrow end of the heart artery, this presses the plaque or blood clot against the sides of the artery, making more room for blood to flow. So similar to my nose ears thing with the balloons.
They want to get the blockages out.
Get the blockages out.
So that's what's causing the heart attack, essentially, our blockages.
Yeah, I really should have said that. I apologize. Can you look it up real quick and just see what is a heart attack? I know that's ridiculous. I'm sure I have it here. Hold on a second.
Heart attack is a sudden and sometimes fatal occurrence of coronary thrombosis, typically resulting in the death of a part of a heart muscle, which is time. Usually occurs when blood clots block blood flow to the heart. Without blood, tissue loses oxygen and dies. Right.
Okay. So yeah, it's blockage. So your like the way you eat can lead to it. It could be hereditary. It could be stress. Mm-hmm. So with my dad, I think it was all of those. His father died of a heart attack when my dad was in his 20s.
So is he always worried about that then?
I don't know. I mean, my dad was a fairly healthy eater. Mm-hmm. He wasn't like, so I don't know that but yeah, I don't know. I should ask him that. I should ask him if he worried about that. He probably did. I mean, yeah, one would think.
Because my dad's dad also died very young, like 55,
oh my God. Yeah.
From a heart attack. Mm-hmm. And I think my dad has always been like, he's kind of obsessive about exercising and what he eats.
Oh yeah, you said he's sort of like manic about it, right?
I think that's part of the reason is because he is really concerned that he's he's 79, so he's not going to die young from a heart attack.
Right. Or die young at all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad, he doesn't drink. In fact, he started drinking red wine after the heart attack because they said that's good. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if he does that anymore because he's just not a drinker. He's never smoked a cigarette in his life. He did tell me that not that long ago, he got stoned.
That's hilarious.
My dad is the squarest. Yeah. And some guy came over. Some friend of his came over. He was telling this to me and Oliver. Some guy came over, a friend of his, and gave him, it was an edible.
I love that.
Because my dad doesn't know how to smoke or anything. I mean, he literally probably wouldn't know how to smoke.
Yeah.
Literally wouldn't understand how to smoke a cigarette or pot. And he said, I was really, I just wandered around. I just left the house and I just started walking and I didn't know where I was. I didn't tell your mom. My mom didn't even know that he was doing this.
Tell her?
No.
Maybe she would have liked to do it too.
No, I doubt it. But I said, but Dad, edibles are very strong. They're much more, from what I know. I've never had an edible, but from what I understand. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. He just told it to us matter of factly. It was hysterical.
That's really funny.
But anyway, so, look, anything that can relax that man is
Maybe he
fun.
needed it to relax.
Oh, no, I agree. But I don't think he liked it because he got, confused. I mean, he's already old and so it's just not the greatest idea. My mom listens to this podcast, so this might be the first time she's finding out that within the last year, my dad got high.
You
But,
know, it's
they
okay.
don't even really talk anymore. So this will give them something to talk about.
My dad got high in his 70s with a girlfriend, and he told me, he was like, guess what I did?
Yeah.
I smoked some pot.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great.
Did he smoke pot when he was younger?
I don't know. I mean, maybe like, I doubt it.
So where was I? Let's talk about stents. A stent is used to reduce the chance of a heart attack. The wire mesh tube is inserted into a blocked artery to help increase blood flow to your heart. The stent is left in place permanently to improve your condition. When done with a coronary angioplasty, which is what we just talked about, a stent placement opens your arteries and increases blood flow to the heart muscle. Stents reduce your overall risk of experiencing narrowing of that same artery. However, it's still possible to have a heart attack in the future from a different clogged artery. That's why adopting a heart-healthy lifestyle habits is so important.
Tell us how it's done.
Well, making these changes can play an important role in helping to prevent a future heart attack. As a rule of thumb, you should see your doctor right away if you experience chest pain, even after a stent placement. In the rare event that a stent closes, you'll need surgery to open up the artery again. It's also possible to experience a blood clot after getting a stent, which could increase your risk of a heart attack. Your doctor will likely recommend taking aspirin as well as prescription anti-clotting drugs such as ticagrelor or clopidogrel. Oh, they give you the market names, and I should have just used that. Brilta? That's not that much easier to say. Brilta.
No, that's
or
not.
Plavix, which you've probably heard.
I've heard of Plavix.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I mean, you should I didn't write all the things you should do because A, if you have a heart attack, your doctor's going to tell you, and B, they're just sort of common sense. Like, don't smoke, don't drink, exercise, and eat well. So
eat a healthy,
balanced life.
Mediterranean style.
That's exactly
diet.
what it said, actually. Right. Okay, what are the side effects of a heart attack? After a heart attack, it's normal to feel very fatigued. You may feel weak and mentally exhausted. You may also have a decreased appetite. Eating smaller meals can help place less strain on your heart. It's common to have mental health side effects after a heart attack. They can last between 2 and 6 months.
Wow.
Some mental health related symptoms include anger.
Oh, boy.
I'd like to state for the record that my dad was angry pre-heart attack. Irritability, same. Fear, same. Insomnia and daytime fatigue. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, your
heart.
You've just, gone through sadness. Feelings of guilt and hopelessness and loss of interest in hobbies. Your knitting is just sitting in a pile, collecting dust. Your Hummel figurines are missing you.
Yeah. They haven't even been
dusted. They're
just sad on your shelf.
Sat on your shelf. Mm-hmm. Burrowing.
Naked and burrowing.
On a shelf.
Naked burrowing Hummel figurines. You know what I think?
Oh, that would be a collector's item.
Precious moments.
Yeah. Oh, I think I was confusing them. Okay, precious moments are the like little children,
little angel children. They're all blonde,
big eyes, and they're blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all blonde, aren't
they all blonde?
Maybe, yeah.
I'm sure they are.
And
it's very Christian seeming.
Yes. And do they have little sayings like on the little statues?
They're like the live, laugh, love of the late 80s, early 90s, maybe.
Yes. And then Hummel figurines are what? They're like military or something.
They're the sort of precious moments, I think, of the 30s.
Oh.
I think they're probably, I don't even know. Maybe Garen can look it up.
Yeah, we'll look up Hummel
figurines. Hummel figurines are actually worth a lot of money now. They're collectible, but they're from an earlier time period. But they are little children, and they might be German or from
I think
Europe.
They are.
And I'm just saying words now.
I know, but the thing is, I think I've looked it up before, and I still don't remember. Okay, is this a Hummel figure? Oh, okay, so Garen has just handed me, you're right, they are little kids. This is a jaunty little child with a cap and a bag. It looks like a carpetbagger. It's a series of porcelain figures based on the drawings of Sister Maria Insonitia Insertia.
Okay, yes.
Hummel. Now I have to read this. I'm sorry.
Please, no. Everyone wants to know. We're all waiting with bated breath.
Because I am actually interested. The sketch art of Sister Maria Innocentia Hummel began to appear in the 1930s in Germany and Switzerland.
Oh my God. I got this so right.
Yeah, you totally did.
You guys.
Mostly pastoral drawings of children. The German art publisher, was involved in the early popularization on postcards. Hummel's art cards became popular throughout Germany, catching the eye of Franz Gerbil.
Uh-oh.
Wait, there's no S on it. There's no S. Porcelain maker and head of W. Gerbil Porzellanfabrik. Porzellanfabrik. It's like if you were making up German. Gerbil acquired rights to turn Hummel's drawings into figurines, producing the first line in 1935. The figurines were introduced at the Leipzig Trade Fair.
You should be letting me read this.
I'm sorry. A major European show for the industry. Gerbil was known for presenting new and novel products that attracted American distributors. By the end of the year, 46 M.I. Hummel motifs were on the market, sold in America at Marshall Fields and Company of Chicago and other American retailers. Okay.
I love that there's no Nazi ties, seemingly.
Well, not yet. I haven't finished. But no, it doesn't look like it. Gerbil is the closest, but okay. So now I'm probably going to go home and read all about that. I like reading about this kind of thing.
You know what? I really hope there's a documentary.
Ooh, that would be good. The dark side of Hummel figurines.
You know what's going to happen? We're going to start collecting them.
No, I'm not. Not if you've seen them. I mean, they're fine. It's just not my... They're very tchotchke-ish.
Yeah,
yes.
they I think invented the word tchotchke.
Oh, well, German, it sounds like, it's probably Yiddish, right?
Yeah.
Tchotchke?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how to survive a heart attack.
Well, I feel informed.
Yeah, especially that jaw thing, because that's
good
so
to know.
specific. And I do also think it's very good to know, don't drive yourself, call 911 because they might have the...
Don't Uber like I would have.
No.
That's
your answer to everything is Uber.
It really is.
I know.
But I loved what we talked about today. I feel more informed, and I hope everyone will pay attention to the warning signs and just take care of themselves.
Right. And we will be right back with our special guest, Katy Fullan.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to How to Survive. How was your break, Chris?
It was great.
What did you do?
I mean, I just meditated.
Did you? Did you?
Well, you know what? I don't want to have a heart attack.
Yeah, you got to meditate.
So I have to manage my stress levels.
That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah. I always think it's funny. Well, like, how do you manage stress? And people are like, well, I exercise. And doesn't everyone do the same shit? I mean, is there a specific way to manage stress that's better than others? Squeeze a ball or something?
I do think actually meditation is scientifically proven to reduce stress, but I find it stresses me out. Very difficult to do.
I can't do it.
I'm very bad at it.
I am bad. I'm bad at meditation. I'm bad at it. Like,
you know what? It takes practice, it turns out. But then you have to work at it, and that makes me feel stressed.
Yeah.
Maybe our guest has an opinion on it.
Our guest today is... she's an actor and a writer, Katy Fullan. Mm-hmm. You can see her work on so FX, the cable channel FX, has a show called Cake,
which is on Hulu. Which you can go back and watch.
Okay, there's so many layers to
I
this.
know.
Okay,
like a cake,
and it's a bunch of shorts. But your shorts are called Chowder.
They're called Chowder. They're kind of like a kind of take on like an 80s soap opera type style, like a Dynasty or even like a little Charlie's Angels.
Oh my God.
This is our wheelhouse.
It's very fun. Yeah, it's called Chowder. The original one is on YouTube. If you just search Chowder and my name comes up. I co-wrote them with my best friend.
I love it.
And we got to make a series of them for FX.
How fun.
Yeah,
oh my
awesome.
God.
It was kind of a dream come true.
Really, totally.
And we got to wear like these crazy costumes.
I can't wait to watch it.
That's the best. Oh, we'll watch it very soon. That's
tonight.
Awesome.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
I hope you like them.
Oh, I'm sure we will. So we just talked about heart attacks, and now we're going to talk about heartbreak. Katy, what happened to you?
I mean, okay. It was horrible. I know I'm like fine now. And like I do actually find it very funny now. Well, not very funny, but kind of funny now. Because it was just like truly worst nightmare situation. So I was with this guy it was like my college boyfriend into like mid-20s. We were together for like 6.5 years. Like,
wow.
For so long. Serious. And like I like knew his parents had been like my teachers growing up, and it just felt so like he'd been like a crush of mine when I was like in middle school, and he was
you knew each other this long.
Yes, because I grew up in Chicago in this like very small community called Hyde Park, and we like went to the same school, like our parents knew each other, and it just seemed like so perfect and like
it was destined
to be like this fairy tale situation. And then we moved out to LA because I wanted to be here. He did not at all want to come.
Okay.
But so that might have been, trouble was brewing.
Right. Yeah. Don't make someone,
don't make somebody
move cross country.
But then on his end, say you don't want to move.
Yeah.
Don't just move and then not say anything.
Of course.
Be furious about it.
Right.
But so flash forward to us like living in LA, and then one night he comes home from his job. And
what did he do?
He was a server. He's a painter, but he was like working in a restaurant too. So he comes home like midnight, and I could like tell something was wrong because he kept being like, "Oh my God, like my stomach hurts, like I don't know." And then he'd been acting like kind of strange like that, like all these weird physical ailments for like a couple weeks. And we were like sitting on our couch, and he's like sitting super far away from me, and I was like, something's really wrong here. And I was like, will you just tell me what's wrong? And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh no.
I just like couldn't compute it. I couldn't understand. I was like, so you want to break up? You want to take a break? Like, what do you? But he was so like kind of passive. He was like, I don't know. We have all these problems. And I was like, well, what problems do we have?
Oh, you did not know there were problems.
No, I did not see it coming because like we never, I mean, this is like psychotic looking back now, like we never fought.
Oh.
We had maybe one fight in 6 years, which is like people aren't
I can't get through the day without a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, me and my partner now can't get through a day without fighting.
So was there, just to back up for 1 second, was there talk about marriage at any point?
Yes.
There
we
was.
were like, we were, I mean, he never like, in my mind at the time, he was like my fiance and we were engaged.
Oh.
And also like doing that whole thing.
Famous last words. In my mind, we were engaged. Oh, Jesus.
Well, no, because we did talk about it.
Okay.
But also, I mean, I was like a little fool. Like I really was. So I have to own that.
But you assumed you guys would eventually get married.
Yeah, I mean, because we did talk about it. We talked about like having kids. That was like his big thing. He like wanted to have kids without getting married.
Okay.
Like, and I was like, yeah, okay, like, cool. That's like
right. I mean, it can be done. It's. I certainly, I have
People
cousins who are. They're all for it, all intents and purposes married. They're just not married, and they have.
That's kind of what I thought.
Grown kids and all that, but it also could possibly be a red flag. It depends if you're on the same page.
I didn't like know terms like that, like red flag or at the time.
Okay.
So then, he just basically is like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I was like, well, what problems do we have? And he goes, I can't tell you.
Well,
I can't tell you, and I've tried to work on them by myself, but it's too late.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was just like,
was he a vampire or something? Or did he have a tail? Or?
Maybe.
He had a secret family.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of secrets for sure. Like, I mean, we had started, like, our one big fight over the years had happened, like, starting kind of recently because he would be, like, gambling.
Oh.
Ooh.
Like, he'd go to, like, the Commerce Casino off of the 5, if you've ever driven by it.
Of course.
And he'd be there, like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And he'd be there, like, all night. He'd, like, get off his shift at work, and then he'd be there till, like, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. One day, he didn't come home until, like, 8 in the morning. Oh. And I was like, well, what? And he said, I couldn't find parking when I tried to come home, so I just went out gambling.
So he went back to Commerce?
So he went back to Commerce.
Wait, is he saying he went to Commerce, came back, couldn't find parking, and then went back to Commerce?
That's what he said.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't track.
It's totally insane, but on the other hand, parking in Los Angeles
is so hard.
And we lived in like Thai Town.
Okay,
East
that's
Hollywood,
hard.
So it's like, it is hard.
That's hard.
So I think that like led to me at the time being like, yeah, no, I mean.
But it also sounds like Ricky Ricardo in that.
The I Love Lucy biopic.
Desi Arnaz, not
it
Ricky
does
Ricardo.
have, you're like in your head going, I know there's a word for this. I think it hasn't been invented yet. Like red flag number 2.
Right. So you had the fight about him being out all night.
Out all night, or just like consistently going out to like play his games. And it would always, like, the fight would always end with like me, it would be like, well, I probably need to like go start therapy because I need to learn how to like have it not bother me.
Okay.
And if I was
Jesus
like,
so there was some gaslighting in there?
it felt like, I watched The Vow, the thing about Nexi on HBO, and it felt very much like that kind of thing where it's like, if you could evolve to a higher state, and not have all this stuff bother
Oh,
you.
yes, that's
You'd
exactly
really
what
have
that's
something.
exactly what that is. You should evolve to it being fine that a man is sleeping with other women. That's
Exactly.
basically what the vow is.
Yeah. This
So,
is your problem.
Yeah,
To work on.
absolutely.
so how long?
Like, why am I so controlling that you won't?
I want to know where my boyfriend is at 3 a.m. So how long had you been living in Los Angeles at this point?
Probably only not even a year. Like, it fell apart fast.
And there's also just kind of that first year's tough.
It is, and I was like, wanting to be like an actor and like,
Yeah.
Oh, and you're hustling,
just kind of,
getting
hustling,
lost everywhere.
but hustling in the wrong way. Like when you first get here, you like do everything wrong.
Of
like,
course.
sign
You're
up
like-
for like all these weird workshops.
San Vicente is so confusing.
Yes,
You're just like, I
Can't
don't
find anything.
Which way do I go?
Yeah, just everything seems so insane your first
And-
year here.
So this is what I was getting at. Did you have a friend, a support system? Did you have friends here?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky in that sense that I had I knew a bunch of people from Chicago from doing improv and stuff in Chicago had moved out here before me. So I definitely had more of a support system than he had. He had all of his restaurant friends.
Okay, right. Okay. All right. So he says...
His gambling buddies.
He says there are problems, but I can't tell you what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And does he never tell you what they are?
I still to date don't know what those problems are.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, flash forward. He'd met somebody else. That was the problem.
The problem was you weren't this other person.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he tried to work on it by himself.
Yeah, he tried to ring. I'm trying to think, but then it was I never really after that conversation with him, after you break up with somebody, they this has been my experience. You never really see the person that you knew again. They kind of just the way they interact with you is just gone and dead forever. We did see I'm trying to figure out. So I didn't really process that he was breaking up with me.
Okay.
Right then, because I just my brain wouldn't compute it that I would have to be without him.
You were in shock.
Because he also I'm not close with my family, and I was super close with his family, and he, that whole
God,
thing.
that's
so
painful.
It was very.
You were losing a whole support network.
I mean, I felt like I lost the whole family. So I just my brain couldn't compute, and I was oh, if I can just be, I was well, I guess we were kind of in a little bit of a rut, not having fun together anymore. So if we can just have a little more fun or have a fun date, I could probably get him back.
Right.
So I didn't see him for maybe a week after that. And then,
where
But you're living together, right?
no, he he kind of moved out at that time.
He was bye.
Kind of.
And you were well, we're still going to be together.
I thought that it was
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was a break.
Yes.
That classic thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was him taking time and we could both decide. And but in my brain I was okay, if I can be, hotter, more fun, more exciting,
this is
I can
breaking my
bring
heart.
him back. I mean, it's really tragic. So I my idea for something crazy and fun to do was to go eat lunch at Rainbow Bar and Grill on the Sunset Strip because I was that's a crazy place.
Yeah.
So I make him go meet me there on a Tuesday, and over this horrible lunch at the Rainbow, he's yeah, I don't think it's a break. We're done. And it was, I don't know. I actually can't remember my exact reaction after that. Some of these things I swear I've blocked out. I do remember going back to my car and I did start really weeping.
Yeah.
And this young construction worker was hey, girl, what's wrong? And I was
If you could just harass me right now, it would do a lot for my self-esteem.
no, but I told him oh my God, my boyfriend just left me, or I might have said I got divorced or something, because that's what it felt like to me.
Right.
And then he was actually really nice, and we hugged.
Oh, that's so
He was
sweet.
a little angel. He was oh girl, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love it.
And then after that, I never really saw him again.
After 6.5 years.
Yeah.
So where did he move out to? Was he moving in with some other woman?
Okay, well, he said he was staying with his friend. And then, months later, I saw his friend ended up working at this place next door to where I was working. And I was is Ben okay? How's Ben? You know, like so worried about him. Because I was like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, just caretaking unnecessarily. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, he stayed with me like one night, but like I haven't really seen him. So he was staying he moved in with a woman.
So he was cheating on you. This whole business about being out all night and not finding partners.
Yeah, I'm not even sure he was even gambling. I think he was.
I love that he made up a degenerate excuse. That his alibi is that he's just.
She's not going to want to be with me if I'm out gambling all the time. Right. And you're like, no, I can accept it.
I know. Like, well, okay, I can learn to live with that. I mean, like, I had kind of a rough family, so I was like growing up. So I was like, okay, I can learn to live with that.
This is what guys do.
Like, I'm pretty good at learning to live with things I don't like.
Apparently.
Yeah. And just being like, or I just didn't think that like, you know, ending it was even an option in my brain.
I see.
So it's like, I better just learn to deal with it. I mean, this did set off this whole journey of like all the things I didn't know about myself.
Well, that's the thing, is that age too, when you're in your, because you were in your early 20s, right?
Like 24, 25.
Yeah. So that's the time where you're kind of like an idiot anyway, and you feel like you should know all these things and that you do know all these things, and you're like, oh, this is not an appropriate way to be treated.
No.
Like you kind of just don't realize it until after the fact.
No, or like other people don't just get to do whatever they want to you.
Right.
And you just go, okay, I can figure out how to be okay with that, or even how to like it. Like, I'm so cool, I can figure out a way to like your gambling. And I mean, it was like maybe a year and a half after that, I had like had enough perspective to be like, yeah, that really wasn't working. And I don't really think that was the relationship that I wanted to be in either.
Yeah.
Oh, right. He probably did you a favor, but at the time it just doesn't feel like that.
Oh, absolutely not. And like his mom would like write me these cards that
was
were like,
wondering.
really sad.
Yeah.
And I would be just like hysterical about them. Because I also was thinking that like, oh, I could maintain like being so close with his family.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Didn't work out that way.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
I did hang out with his cousin a little bit. Like, not date his cousin, but like we went out and partied a couple times. I think I did that just like out of spite.
Yeah.
I know. But I also think it's weird of his cousin to be like pursuing hanging out with me.
It is weird. It's
I
totally
eventually had to be
weird.
like, I don't think we should hang out. Like, I don't want to be reminded.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
want to be involved in this anymore.
So how do you think you survived it? What did you...
What I do? I mean, I did cry a lot with my friends.
Yeah.
And my mom and I hadn't been close really prior to that. But then once this happened, like, she really was there for me. Like, we really talked. We talked. She would be on the phone with me for hours, like, while I cried, which we never really, like, we just hadn't been close for a lot of years. So that was like kind of a nice...
That is nice.
Effect. Yeah.
Did that closeness stay after? No.
No, I mean, no, not really. But I'm thankful that it was there at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a lot of new friends. I kind of threw myself into like these day jobs. Like I just had so many jobs, but I like, I don't know. It was sort of like, and I also did talk about it obsessively. And so I'd like end up talking about it with like all these different kinds of people of like all ages. And I'd never really like, I just never been so like talking about my emotions and like working things out like that before, that it was sort of like a lesson in like, oh, that's how you're supposed to deal with problems, like when you get upset about things. Like I also did crazy things, like not crazy, I also broke into his car because I was like trying to figure out.
I was not expecting that. I thought she was going to say like, I did Reiki.
Yeah, I had Reiki done one time.
So crazy.
She totally buried the lead. Okay, so at what point is this that you broke into his car?
This was like maybe 2 months after. I was just like, I should have like written out the timeline because like at first I was like so disoriented and so crazy.
Yeah.
I would like drive by his work and like did see him. Oh my God, it's like so shameful to be like admitting that I did stuff like that. But
we've all done it.
Oh God,
driving
how
by
many
someone's
nights
work?
driving by somebody's apartment that broke my heart? Just driving past his apartment over and over again.
I think I
looking
once,
for what? I don't know.
Just like needing to feel like I was close to him.
I think I once roller skated from my apartment to my ex's apartment, hoping he'd see me or something. I have no idea.
No, and then like, what would you do if he saw you?
That's adorable.
Just look cute on your roller skate.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was just roller skating in your neighborhood.
With this neighborhood?
Yeah. So,
I didn't even know I was by your apartment.
Yeah, right.
6 miles away from mine.
I know, right.
Sweating.
Well, my legs are just on fire. Okay, so this was a couple months or a month or something after.
Yeah. And I really wanted to figure out if he was like, because also, I mean, we have Instagram, so I was like obsessively looking at his Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And like, I started noticing, because like back then they had that feature where you could like see what other people had liked or see what other people had commented on.
Okay.
They took it off because it's kind of a psychotic feature.
Right.
But I could tell, because I was still like following him, I could tell that he kept tagging this like woman in like cute little pictures, always like things that he used to tag me in, you know? And I was like, oh, wait a minute here, or commenting on their photos. So that's when I started putting it together that like, it wasn't just like we had problems that couldn't be fixed. It was like he was more interested in spending time with other people. So I like, I don't know. I didn't like break his windows. I had a spare key to his car.
Okay.
And he had like, I knew that he was out of town and he'd parked it near like our mutual friend's place. So I just like drove over there and like, you know, went in and like rifled around looking for things.
What did you want to find? What were you curious about? Were you thinking like evidence of a woman or?
Yeah, evidence of a woman.
You saw him with another woman on Instagram constantly. How is that not the?
I don't know. I wanted to hurt more, maybe.
You wanted, like,
I don't even know.
A used condom in
That's
the car?
a great
I mean,
maybe.
what did you want?
Yes, that's what I wanted.
The answer. I found the evidence.
I guess like that's what it felt like. I wanted like an answer. I wanted like a note to be like.
Okay. And did you find anything?
No, I didn't find anything. This is super embarrassing.
No,
I've
I've done all these kinds of things. I mean, I completely understand this need to like obsessively
find some connection with
find an answer, be closer to the person, because you're not done.
Yeah, you're still close.
You're still close. They've moved on. They're not thinking about you, but you are like, I'm not done with this relationship yet. It's the
worst feeling.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And then you think you'll never get over it, and then you kind of eventually do.
It's crazy. I remember driving to this one job in particular that I really enjoyed, and like it took, I think maybe it was like a year later or almost a year later that I like realized that like this pain in my heart that had been there for like a year had lifted. And it was like the first time I consciously was like, oh wow, this like weight isn't there anymore.
Did it feel like an elephant sitting on your chest?
Kind of.
Yeah. That's what a heart attack apparently feels like.
No.
So, yeah.
You might have had a heart attack.
You might have had a heart attack.
For a year.
And then,
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm trying to think. There are other things that I did to like survive. Like I did start therapy, which was good.
Yep.
And I did learn all about codependency. I'd never heard that term before in my life. This made me laugh. I was like working this job and we had to park really far away. So every day or every time I worked there, I'd be like walking like almost a mile to get to work. But then one day I like looked down on my walk and there was like this book in my path and it was Codependency No More. And I was like, what?
Literally in your path.
God.
Yeah. And I picked it up and like, you know, I don't know if you've read it, but the first chapter, she like lists all the things. And I was like, what? There's a term for my family, myself.
Wow.
Like, I had no idea. So it started this whole like journey that I also got really into like every kind of like self-help podcast and like every kind of like self-help modality, which I think has set off like kind of an addiction to it that I'd like to stop.
Have you become codependent with self-help?
So. Or I just like somehow stopped being able to like rely on my own, being like, you can take care of yourself. Like you don't always need like these experts. Outside opinion, right?
Okay, so that's no. And I think it's funny because we all do it, but when I go on Facebook, I'm old, so I'm still on Facebook, and I see, she just nodded. She didn't even like, she's like, yeah, right, you're old.
People still got their Facebook.
Right. So when I go on Facebook or something,
it's still a thing.
And someone's like, how do I get, my kids to put on their shoes? I'm like, you can't fucking do anything by yourself anymore.
That's so funny.
No one can do anything by themselves anymore. They have to crowdsource an answer for every goddamn thing that happens in their life.
I saw one, this is off topic, but I saw one, this woman was in some kind of like women in comedy group. And she comments, does anyone know where to get good shorts?
I mean, exactly.
Come on.
Really? You can't figure that out?
Every store has them. What's your favorite store? Like, start there. Go looking for shorts. What kind of shorts do you like?
Shorts are everywhere.
Yeah,
it's really like. Also, it's like
it was summer. So
what do you like? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Do you want khaki shorts?
It's just
do you
people
want
wanting
Nike type shorts?
I mean, the
Thank you.
the
There's so
cynical
many
side of me says it's just someone wanting attention, and the
weird
less
way to
cynical side of me is saying it's just someone wanting a connection.
I
right?
think it is about
Because,
connection.
I mean, it's not like I don't do it. I sometimes I stop myself from if it's really inane. I mean, most things are Googleable, so Jesus Christ. But if it's an actual thing, but or it'll be some like huge life decision you're leading up to people on the internet to argue about whether you should let your it's just
like Reddit. I mean, I also got deep into Reddit. I'd be like on Reddit being like, what do I do when my I'd say husband, I'd be like, what do you do when your husband leaves you? Like,
wow.
And then I learned that they're like, this happens like a lot, like people just disappear like that.
Yes.
Oh.
So I found comfort in that.
Well, Katy, we can't thank you enough for being here.
Oh, thank you.
This was so much fun. I'm so
Great
glad
story.
you're healed.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you realize that you're not alone and that this is just like you
things
realize you don't
happen.
have to be, I mean, being in your early 20s is a headache.
It is. And you know what? The reality is getting your heart broken means you loved deeply.
Yeah.
And so we all should have the privilege of having our heart broken
true.
at least once in our life.
Yeah, it makes you feel alive.
Yeah. Oh,
That's true.
And you survived something. And
I did.
So that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And we're happy that you were here to share it with
Yeah,
us.
I have a fun story now.
Okay, well, we're going to check out Chowda.
And
please do.
you can follow Katy on Instagram at Katy Fullan, Fullan, right? Oh, Katy. Thank you. Just wanted to
Katy.
clarify.
It's the cutest way to spell Katy.
I like to spell it
much.
in reverse, so it makes it complicated for everyone.
YTAK.
Yeah, you got it.
And we will be right back with what we learned today and actually.
And maybe a letter from a fan.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Welcome back to How to Survive. So let's talk about what we learned today.
Please.
Just like pugs, the House of Habsburg indeed did have inbreeding issues. Always check your dog bags before use. Maturity is growing to enjoy poop discussion. Never forget, time is muscle.
Ooh.
Nitroglycerin is a heart disease medication that opens up the arteries in the heart. According to Urban Dictionary, I don't know why it would be an Urban Dictionary, but according to Urban Dictionary, agita is a pukey burp. I have not matured that much. Okay, ladies, keep an eye on your jaw. Heart attack pain radiates while panic attack pain remains in one area. An elephant equals heart attack. Pachydermia is a word. Oh, I'm so excited. It's an abnormal thickness of tissue. Ooh.
I hope I don't get that.
Ooh, good. Heart disease refers to several types of heart conditions, the most common of which is coronary artery disease. Most Hummel figurines are worth $50 to $75. Some can reach several $100s. I would think so.
Makes sense.
Precious Moments are a more religious themed set of figurines.
I
You were
nailed
right.
that too.
Oh my God.
I'm nailing this episode.
Yep. So we've had some nice correspondence lately, yes?
Yes, this is from a guy named Dan Forsch. I think he doesn't mind us sharing his name. And he's sharing his survival story.
Okay.
And he says, "Hi, Danielle and Kristine. Sorry, Garen. You got no love.
No garden squirrel.
I'm enjoying the show. And since you ask at the end of every episode, I thought I'd share my story of surviving being hit by a car.
Oh.
I was walking home from work one evening and had nearly made it to my apartment. I was at an intersection waiting to cross a somewhat busy street. I've lived in Seattle for a while, so I always wait for the walk signal. It's a thing we're known for here, more so than in other places." Huh? Oh, that's a famous
A famous Seattle
thing. We're
brag.
known for Humble brag much?
Jeez.
Or if we're waiting at crosswalks. Okay. The light changed and I started to cross. A woman driving on the cross street came up and started to make a left turn. I was already in front of her in the crosswalk, but she didn't see me at all. It was December, so it's dark, but there are streetlights. Not sure.
Seattle's known for their streetlights.
Yeah, so they're famous for streetlights.
Yes.
Not sure if she was distracted or I was just somehow in her blind spot, directly in front of her car. I was knocked over and my shoulder and head hit the pavement, which caused me to black out. Not only do I not remember anything for a few minutes after that, perhaps fortunately, I have no memory of actually being hit or even stepping off the curb. I started to have some awareness while lying in the street with people standing around me as an ambulance was arriving. Probably at least 5 minutes later, I was taken to the emergency room where they checked me out. A scan revealed, according to my medical records, subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is bleeding in the brain.
Oh,
it sounds spidery.
Like a spider. Yeah,
it sounds like
I thought he was going to say there was a spider laying eggs in his stomach or something.
I think we should Google this because I know I don't want to Google everything because I want to rely on my own intuition. My intuition is telling me he had spiders in his brain.
100%.
Scary. They kept me at the hospital overnight, and a later scan revealed whatever bad thing was going on in my skull had improved enough for me to go home the next day. I also had a separated shoulder from landing on it with my weight, which means I still have a weird bony bump on the shoulder, but it isn't painful.
Oh, wow.
So what did I learn? Be lucky. Okay. This is unfortunately the biggest takeaway. Number 2, when in a situation like this, do not leave the hospital without being officially discharged. Even if you're worried about your cat who hasn't eaten since breakfast the previous day. They will call this against medical advice and the insurance won't have to pay. My bill for the whole ordeal would have been over $35,000. Okay.
So he didn't do that.
He didn't do that.
Okay, thank God.
So don't do that. Everyone, that's good advice. Number 3, hire lawyers to deal with the insurance for you, even if you think you don't need to. I don't know. That's if you can afford it, I guess. I didn't end up owing anything for medical bills. And then he goes into personal injury protection. There's a lot there. I'm going to skip that. Sorry, Dan. Number 4, most importantly, if you have an anxious Jewish mother like I do, do not post on Facebook, hit by a car while crossing the street. Do not recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. No matter how funny you think it is at the time. This one I did learn the hard way.
Oh my God.
One last thing, Kristine.
That's awesome.
I also hail from the North Coast, Cleveland, and I liked your Home of the Buzzard shirt when you were on Never Not Funny. I wish I still had one. Keep up the great work on the podcast. Dan Forsh. Well, you know what, Dan Forsh? I can let you know that I did find that shirt on Etsy.
Oh, and what is what is it?
Home of the Buzzard. It's a shirt of the classic rock radio station in Cleveland.
Oh, fun.
WMMS. And I wanted that shirt because it reminded me of my childhood.
Oh, that's great.
So you can look on Etsy, Danny. You might find one. And thank you for sharing your How to Survive story and for being a listener.
Wow. Well, yeah, my anxious Jewish mother isn't on Facebook, so I could make all the jokes I want.
And my mother is anxious, but not Jewish.
Right.
So
it's not as charming.
No.
Right. So, I also just wanted to give a well actually regarding a previous episode in which we were discussing twilight sleep.
Oh, okay.
And I went home and researched, well, not researched, I mean, I read. I do my own research.
Put that sign in your yard like people in my neighborhood do.
Right. Does it literally say I did my own research?
Yeah.
And it's not being ironic. They're really bragging that they did their own.
I think they're being genuine.
So, okay, so twilight sleep is actually both things. So twilight sleep is a practice that was done from like the 1900s to the 1960s for women giving birth, and it caused amnesia. So they're saying it didn't necessarily even ease childbirth pain. It's just you didn't remember the pain because it caused amnesia.
That's insane.
It was completely insane. For a while, feminists were, pro sleep because it was supposed to, lessen pain for women. So it is a very interesting history of it. And then certain doctors, they kind of were, I think you may have even said this, they were pressured to do it because it became popular, but didn't necessarily know how to mix it in the right way. So it wasn't always super successful. So that was twilight sleep. And then there is something in dentistry called twilight sedation, which is what I think of when I hear twilight sleep. So, twilight sedation, also known as conscious sedation, is a form of anesthesia that allows our patients, this is from a dentist website, to feel comfortable during and after their dental procedures. Mild doses of sedatives are used to reduce anxiety, block pain, and put patients into a twilight state.
Can you be put in one of those just for life?
That would be fantastic.
Because I am not really afraid to go to the dentist, but life I find to be kind of scary. And if I could just be in a twilight state, I think I might really enjoy that.
I think you would. I think I would too at certain times. Okay. Yeah. I agree.
Let's look into that.
Yeah. I mean, getting your hair done is kind of boring. Like, you know, if you could just...
Yeah, could you put me in a twilight state? I think that's how pot is for a lot of people.
I guess
it's not for me, but like if maybe this twilight drug could be that for us, where it's like, Danielle, do you want to come over tonight? We'll put on some sitcom. We'll put on Cheers. I'll make a big bowl of popcorn and we'll go into a twilight state.
I don't think you're that conscious though in the twilight state. I could be wrong, but I think you're almost kind of unconscious. I don't know.
To be that out of it.
Yeah. But it would be, maybe I've had it. I'm not even sure. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm not completely insane. I knew that, or I should say my husband isn't completely insane because I was getting the term from him, I believe. So,
it feels like it's not actually a actually. It's more like a elaboration on what we were talking about. Like we both kind of were not quite wrong, but not.
No. You were 100% right. And I was 100% right. But we didn't know that I was right. I think that's what happened because the definition we found was what you were talking about, the birth thing, which I didn't know anything about. So I love learning something new. So that was really interesting to me because I didn't know, I never heard about that.
Now I want to see if there's a documentary about it.
Oh, we got to find a documentary. What if it's about both?
That would be just the epicenter.
So unnecessary. Well, once again, we want to thank our guest, Katy Fullan, who was fantastic.
Charming delight.
And we want to thank Garen the Garden Squirrel Cockerel because
wonderful.
He
doing a wonderful job.
Fabulous.
He's got a really cool shirt on today too.
Yeah, it's
fluorescent,
inky, blinky.
Well, they're not Pac-Man. What are they called?
The Ghosts.
The Ghosts. Gosh.
And Clyde. Inky, blinky. What was the third one?
Winky and Nod?
No. Winky and Nod.
I'm making things up. I thought you were too.
Inky, Blinky.
Oh, that's real.
Clyde and
Clarence.
Twinkie. The first three.
Pinky, Blinky,
Pinky, and Clyde. Okay, yeah. I forgot Pinky. And except that they're all in pink, so I can't really tell who is who. It's a pink outline.
And machine guns.
That's probably so they don't have to pay anybody any kind of royalties.
Yeah, because it just looks like a frog foot, but upside down it looks like a
We're
ghost.
going to take a picture of it and post it on Instagram.
Yeah, this is like a TikTok ad or a Facebook ad shirt that I saw, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, really?
That works?
It works.
It works on me.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. We've had a wonderful time, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.